with the VP of Commercial and Claims, Kim Daly. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. So let's dive right in, right? Can you tell us about your background and experience in the insurance industry and as a lawyer?
Okay, that's a big one. I have been in the industry for over 25 years and I'm being conservative. And during this period, I've experienced the industry through many different lenses. So I started my career in insurance straight out of university. I joined an insurance company operating out of Montego Bay at the time. So I was working in the branch office there in Montego Bay. And during that period, I basically learned everything about the products that insurance companies sold to the Jamaican consumers. So I kind of think of that company as my insurance university, because it really was a massive, massive training ground for me. As a matter of fact, within 6 months of joining that company, I decided that I wanted to make insurance my career. Yeah, so that, and I stayed there for 12 years. And during that period, I completed the insurance qualification exam, which was a really big deal at the time. So I became an associate of the Chartered Insurance Institute, which is, out of London. And back then, it really was a big deal. I was just a girl who loved insurance and just wanted to know everything that there was to know about insurance. Right. So after 12 years, with this company, I'd basically done the gamut. I'd worked in all the departments, I'd worked in marketing, I understood the underwriting aspects, I was in reinsurance. And when I looked around, like I felt like I'd kind of completed my journey there, in a way, I looked around, I looked up to see, what next for Kim. And everybody who was employed, at the levels above me, they were all very educated. They were, doing a great job. The CEO loved them. And I'm thinking, well, okay, girls, time for you to look outside. And I did that, and I actually left that company and went in a position in a brokerage firm as a senior manager claims. Claims really was, I'd done some claims, in my insurance life, but
Yes.
I think it was just this massive thing because claims for me, it's like the shop window. It's what you say to the consumer, whenever you have a problem, we're gonna fix this problem. And it's almost like I felt like, how am I gonna deliver this promise to these people? Really, honestly, to deliver to kind of meet and surpass their expectations. I didn't feel like I had enough tools in my kit to really deliver to a corporate client who had a massive fire or just had a claim, a technical claim. So I felt like I needed some legal tools just to elevate my toolkit.
Yes.
And I went to the Paralegal Training Institute and they had a 6 months program there. So I went there and, a full-on student, I was kind of like a sponge because I needed to grasp this thing that was law. And it was in that period that in my own mind, I said, but wait, Kim, like an insurance policy is a contract. So, and that's what lawyers interpret contracts all the time. So it made sense for me in doing the paralegal course. And by the way, I'm a director at the Paralegal Institute now,
Wonderful.
apparently I did well, I don't know. And they really do a good job in terms of, giving you enough tools to deal with basic legal matters.
Great.
And so after that, so I'm doing my, senior manager claims and I'm making clients happy, but I just didn't, felt like I needed more, I needed to be a lawyer. So I
Right.
could kind of talk with lawyers on behalf of my clients. Because truthfully, all insurance companies, they have their legal departments or they
Yes.
have their fancy lawyers. I was going to say uptown, but most of the fancy lawyer, the offices are downtown
Right.
traditionally.
Right.
So I decided that I really need to do this law thing, so I can better serve my clients. And I absolutely loved it. Like it's funny how you don't know what you don't know. When I remember doing the law degree, when I did the law degree, it's almost like I felt like I was wearing a different pair of lenses.
Well.
So it's almost like you're seeing the world in a different light. And then I went to law school, it was just a clearer vision. So I'm able to deal with the insurance company lawyers, whether it's their legal department, on behalf of my clients.
Yes.
So the law has really been like this significant tool that I've kind of placed in my kit that really kind of helps me to manage all aspects of my client's business.
That's great. That is
Yeah.
great. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges facing the insurance industry today in the claims department?
Wow. This is I would I try to segment it because I think there are problems on all fronts, So if I
Okay.
look at it from a client's perspective, I feel most clients they really don't understand the product, the policy, what is covered and what is not covered. So I think as brokers, and we certainly try to do that, we try to educate the clients before they have a claim.
Okay.
Because at the time when a client has a claim, vehicle is banged up, they're in distress, they're not thinking about, oh, what you had said again about this thing not being covered and so on. So I think it's really absolutely critical and vital for the Jamaican consumer, the person who is buying a motor vehicle policy, who is buying insurance for their businesses,
Yes.
for them to understand what is covered and what isn't covered. So many times, consumers will say to me, Miss Daly, what are you talking about? Like, I bought a comprehensive policy. Why are you telling me that I need to be out of pocket for some expenses?
Right.
But it is what it is. Most policies, have limitations. And I think the biggest part of making life easier for a claimant is for them to have the understanding of the policy day one. Right. So there is that the lack of understanding of what is covered and what isn't covered, and really that kind of helps with managing a person's expectations. They know what they will get when this unfortunate incident happened. Then it's easier for them to accept the news at the time when it is happening to them.
Right.
So that's one issue. Also, just the timeliness of settlements of claims. It's a process. It's a technical process. And so you have a motor vehicle accident, and you need to get an estimate from a repairer. The repairer, has his garage working. The repairer won't necessarily prioritize and do
Yes.
your estimate immediately.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So that it's a process, and then the insurance company has to send the adjuster to go and to do the investigation, and that takes a little bit of time as well. And then when we get to paying the claims, that's a process. So what we do in terms of just managing for the clients is managing their expectations day one when there's a claim, to kind of say to them, give them a roadmap of sorts to show and to tell them, the timelines, each step of the way, how long will you need to wait, what the process entails. Persons are going to come to interview you, the adjuster is going to come to look at your vehicle and he's going to have questions for the repairer, that sort of thing. So managing the expectations in terms of the practical management of a claim is critical for some clients. And one thing, and I focus a little bit on the motor, because sometimes when there are two versions of the same accidents, that also creates delay as well.
Yes.
So the insurance company, one client is saying this is how it happened, the other one is saying that's how it happened, and then never the twain. And one insurance company, they can't be saying to their client, oh, you're lying. I'm never going to tell my client that my client is lying. My client's story is the Bible version of how the accident happened. You know what I
Correct.
mean?
Yes.
So that in and of itself really kind of creates delay, because you have to navigate now and try to get to who really is wrong and who was right in the accident. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So the industry in a way tries to manage some of those situations where nobody's admitting that they were wrong. Classic example, traffic light scenario. Both parties had the light was on green. Both parties. And I'm saying unless the lights were malfunctioning.
Right.
One person had green and one had red.
Right.
But when both parties are insisting that I had green, industry finds some, tools, methods to deal with those things. And that is frustrating for the person who really had the green light. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Because they're like, it's not fair. Why am I only getting 50%? And I know that I was in my glasses and I saw the light on green. He's lying. But who's going to tell him that? So we tried as an industry to kind of pacify in a way those challenges that the Jamaican consumer face. So from a consumer standpoint, those are some of the issues from an insurance company standpoint, just the rising cost of claims, the frequency of claims. I
Yes.
mean, there are a lot of fraud claims as well.
Yes.
So there is that. But what we do, so what has and as brokers, we have challenges too because we have to be managing the adjuster to make sure that he goes to our client first.
Right.
We can't wait until Friday. You need to go today, sir. So our client claim can get on top of the price. So we are managing the adjusters so they can keep them honest and keep them on top of our clients' matters. And we're also managing the insurance companies, to try again. Our foundation is really just to get our clients' file on top, because we're not physically paying and, we're not physically doing the work because the adjuster is really the eyes and ears of the insurance company that is there to really gather the facts and to determine what happens. And then it's the insurance company that is paying because the contract really is with the client and the insurance company. But we are in the middle now in our steel toe boots trying to just get our clients the best settlement that they should get
Right.
because we really represent. So we have our challenges as well, and sometimes we when insurance companies are they're telling us something or other about they have closed off so they can't produce the check until 5 days later. We are in there just fighting because our client, this man don't want that to hear that story. He wants his money because today is Friday and he needs to pay his worker.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we have challenges to sometimes try to save our clients from the explanation because they're just gonna say the industry really is not looking out for our best interests.
And on that note,
Mhm.
how does BCMG provide a personal touch dealing with clients?
Right.
Yes.
Yes. So, and my CEO is like, this is his baby. So all the claims is almost like he oversees. He's this person that oversees the claims. And I'm very passionate about it. So what we do, we need to be first on the scene when there is an accident, when there is a claim, when there is a fire. So literally if our client can call us anytime, if your building is burning at 2 a.m., you need to call us because we need to be there holding your hand. So we try to really, and this is not fluff.
Right.
We physically, whenever we need to go on the scene, go to the client and sit with them and talk to, literally hold their hands, because they're in distress. Can you imagine your establishment is on fire?
Right.
Yes, you have insurance, but you're in a whole nother world thinking
Of course.
a million and one things. So you need your insurance professional to be there to deal with that aspect for you because you have other issues to deal with. And that's what we do. We go, and because we understand the business, we've been there, we take the mantle from them. And that's our commitment to them in any event. It is a promise to say, once there is a claim, we are going to make sure that you are placed in the position you occupy right before the claim. And yes, there are limitations and so on, but we really and truly try to live that with them. It's not, we don't just tell them because insurance is it's relationship, and it is personal. And we really have to be there for our clients when they're in distress. That really is the bargain, and that's our commitment to them. And we try to really be for them, what we commit that we would be.